Hello and welcome to Core Motion Fitness. This is your 30-minute dynamic stretching class. All you need is a mat. So let's go ahead and get warmed up and then we'll get right into our dynamic stretches. So take your legs wide for me. Take a nice deep inhale up and relax those arms down behind your back. Clasp them together and eyes up, chin up, and stretch. Good job. From here, let's take a hinge forward, flat back, and right back up. Bring those arms back up and release. Let's do it again. Go ahead and take a big inhale up and hands come behind your back. Clasp them together. Try to reach a little bit deeper this time. And hinge forward at your hips, flat back. And bring it back up and reach your arms up overhead. From here, just a gentle side bend to one side. Knees stay soft. And let's go up and over to the other side. And repeat. Great job. And let's take that last side bend here. And then we'll do a couple rotations through our trunk and we'll be ready to go with our dynamic warm up. So we warm up before the warm up. Kind of silly, I know. Just loosen up. So dynamic stretches are great for before you work out, okay? Or if you're just needing to get going for the day, feeling a little bit stiff in the morning, a dynamic stretch is a great option for that as well. So I'm gonna turn to the side here so you can see what's happening. This is a knee hug with a quad stretch. So balance on one leg, give your knee a big hug right here, keep your chest lifted, and then we're gonna swing that leg back behind and try to grab a hold of it and hold for a quad stretch. And if you need a wall or a chair, go ahead and grab that and then just keep going. So you're gonna feel a lengthening in your hip flexor as you bring this knee up and then moving into that quad stretch back and behind. So a lot of times we tip forward when we do this quad stretch. So try to tuck your hips and lift your chest. And keep going. We'll do one more on this side. Take it on back. And release. Good. We're going to continue on this side of our body for a few more exercises and then we'll move to the other side. So moving on, we're going to take the leg that we're holding on to, just set it right in front of your supporting or your standing foot, and I want both heels to go to the ground. Now you're just going to have this dynamic movement where you take your moving leg forward and then you're going to take it back, pressing the heel to the ground. This is a great stretch for the lower legs, your Achilles, your anterior tibialis on both sides. And again, it just creates some mobility for your body. So be mindful that when you are doing this stretch, that your back knee is just really lining up right in front of the toes, not putting too much pressure on the knees at all. Good, and as you feel a little bit more warm, sink down a little bit more and really drive your back heel to the ground. Good, one more in each direction, and then we are gonna move on. So same moving leg, okay? So step both feet together for me, same moving leg, so that'll be my right leg. We're gonna stand up nice and tall with a big inhale at the top, and then right leg is going to go back into a deep lunge. So step as far back as you can, go all the way down to the ground, reaching with your right hand. Check and see that your front knee is lined up right over your heel or midfoot. Stay there for a moment, and then you're gonna step your back leg right back to meet your front leg. So bring it in, big inhale at the top, and let's do that again. Step it back, and you can take these as slow or as fast as you need to. And bring it in, good. So as we do this, you're starting to create some heat in the front leg, flexibility in the hips, and let's go one more time right here before we move on. Straighten out that back leg, and this is your last one. And up, and take it into a small back bend, and release. All right, moving on to the other leg. So back to that knee hug. So find your balance, hug your knee in, chest lifted tall, and then swing the leg through and grab a hold for a quad stretch. Good, keep it going. And sometimes it feels nice when you have that knee hugged in to give a little ankle rotation at the same time. So if you want to, move the ankle side to side, forward and back, and then grab a hold. And that is your last one. Moving on. We've got that foot plant forward and back, so the leg that you're holding onto is going to be your moving leg. Set it down to the ground right in front of your standing leg. Bend both knees. Okay, and it does take a little bit of time to kind of feel the stretch where you're supposed to feel it. So front and back of the leg is where you're going to feel this, along with your Achilles, or right above your heel. So a little hinge forward, and then again, moving leg steps back, and we drop the heels, lean forward for an extra stretch, and just keep on going. But stay slow, stay controlled in your movement. And you may need to step a little bit wider, a little bit narrower. You can kind of play around with that as you need to. Good. Our lower legs don't always get the attention that they need, and our ankles and our feet need to get warmed up as well. All right, we'll take one more in each direction, and then we'll move into that big lunge. All right, stepping both feet together. Go ahead and take a deep inhale up. And again, your moving leg is the one that's going to step back into the lunge. So first, find your distance, and then drop all the way down. Again, front knee over ankle, hold. Pressing through your front foot, go ahead and step up into standing position. And let's take it right back down again. Nice deep lunge. And step it up. Good job. Let's get two more before we move on to our next set. So look right out past your mat. When we do this, we tend to round our spine. We want a nice long spine. And one more time, lunging it back. Good job. And stand it all the way back up. And back bend at the top. And release. Okay, so feeling a little bit warmer. Now we're gonna move into some dynamic squats. So squats are always dynamic, but this time we're gonna add some reaches and twisting and hinges into these sequences. So take your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Squat position is just a drop of the hips, knees pointing out towards your toes. So the first thing we're gonna do actually is take our arms up, tuck our chin, round ourselves down as we squat. And then we're gonna sweep our arms out in front of us and open wide. So arms at the top, let's go round yourself down and then drop into a squat and sweep our arms out and open wide. So a lot of movement going on in the spine, tucking your chin and add the squat. Lift your chest, reach all the way up. Good. And we'll just keep that going. Round forward like you've got a big ball right in front of you. Drop your hips, reach to me, open your palms, get a good stretch for the hands, and let's do two more. And one last big one here. Scoop up and over, make sure to squat, and arms out in front, all the way up. Give your glutes a big squeeze at the top. And release. Good. Roll your shoulders up, back, and around. Staying in this squat position, we're just gonna slide our hands from one foot to the next. So go down in your squat here. We're gonna reach our right hand. Okay, this is my right hand. We're gonna reach it over toward our left foot. We're gonna just slide right back through. And if you're not comfortable in this deep of a squat, okay, you can be here and you can reach to your knee, and then you can reach to your opposite knee. But go as low as you're comfortable going, and let's begin. So just reach and reach. Kind of a gliding motion here from side to side. And it's okay even if you're transferring weight from one side of your foot to the other. Good, keep coming. And glide. Good, let's do one more on each side right here. So just gliding and good job, right back through the center. We're gonna roll ourselves up, give our legs a little break here. So kick your heels up for a moment. Remember, we're stretching, we're not exercising necessarily, just getting some warmth. All right, moving on. We're gonna go back down into that same squat position. We're trying to reach a little bit further across our foot and then go to a hinge in the middle. So here's what it looks like from the side. Squat position, drop down. We'll start with our right hand. We're gonna reach across, try to go to the outside of the foot. You can even hook for a moment if you'd like to. We're gonna come back to the center and extend our arms and straighten our legs for the most part. Soft bend in the knee, come back down to a squat. We're gonna reach across to the other side and hook. And again, maybe it's right on the knee and not on the foot. And then come back to the center and flat back. And that is our pattern. So let's go ahead and do that. We've got about 30 seconds to move through that sequence. So deep squat or high squat, your choice. Excuse me. And reach across the foot. Feel that stretch in the back. Come back through the center and extend arms and straighten legs. Good, right back down, chest lifts, and move across. Come center, and extend. Great work. Back down. This does not have to be fast. Just breathe right through your movements. Good job, and let's do one more right here. And extend and hold. Good. Bend both knees and roll yourself gently to the top. And good. You can kick those heels up again. Give our legs a little baby stretch. And the last thing we're gonna do in the standing position are some leg swings. This is a great hip opener. Also works flexibility in your hamstring, and then you're gonna feel some stability happening in the lower leg as well. So if you need to hold on to the wall, you're welcome to do that. But we're gonna start by just doing some knee swings just to get that hip mobilized, and try to do it without holding on to the wall if possible. And then just pay attention to my back. So I'm not arching my back here and lifting my chest, kind of keeping my hips slightly tucked. And then as it feels good, go ahead and swing the leg at full extension and get your arms going at the same time if you can. And then finally, for the full dynamic swing, you're gonna reach your arms toward your moving leg. Okay, so it's the opposite arm that comes across to reach. Full body warm up right here. And one more in each direction, and release. Good. Shake out your feet. Okay, sometimes we don't realize our feet are working so hard. And let's go ahead and start on the other side. So begin with just the knee. Arms can be wherever you're most comfortable. Maybe this is the most comfortable spot right here at the wall. So core is tucked in tight. All right. Now go ahead and begin adding that full leg. Again, maybe arms are still small to begin with. Getting a big glute squeeze. And then adding the reach. Good, reach forward and back with the arms. Really try to get that whole cross body movement going on. Touch the wall anytime you need to. And it's hard for me to look at you. And swing. All right, one more in each direction and done. All right, so feeling pretty warm. Our heart rate's even climbing just a little bit. We're gonna take a few rotations and then we're gonna take ourselves down to the ground. So the rest of this class is on the ground. So go ahead and get there now. We're gonna start in a kneeling position. It's always good to make sure you have a little cushion under your knees. So if you need to fold your mat over, you can do that. But we're gonna take our arms out to the side, okay? And our right leg is going to extend out to the side as well. So we're pulled up nice and tight here. You may feel this actually as a core exercise, but we're gonna enjoy it as a nice stretch as well. So inner thigh is going to get this stretch. We are going to just extend through our left arm, reach down to the ground, arm comes up and over, pressing off of the ground, using your abdominals, you're gonna come right back up to the center and hold. So let's do that again. So be mindful my hips aren't going back on this one. We're just laterally hinging to the side and enjoying a nice side bend. Press off the ground and right back up. Good, keep going. Reach, fingers lightly touching, and press up. Perfect. We'll do one more like that and then we'll add on. Good job. And bring it up. Okay, so next in that same position, we're gonna add some arm circles. So reach, come down to the ground, hold. You've got 2 arm circles, so join me now. Keep it close to the body. There's 1, and there's 2. Arm stops at the top, hold. Press yourself back up, and let's do it again. Reach over, and just take it slow. 2 arm circles. Stopping back at the top, hold. Press off the ground. You've got 1 more time, just like that. And reach. And stopping at the top, hold. And then press off the ground, reach yourself back up, and stay right here. All right, now from the same position, we are going to hinge our hips back and reach our arms forward. So it looks like this. First option is no arms. First option is just a hip hinge back. My back toes are tucked here. My inner thigh is getting a stretch, and then working on that hip, the hinge and thrust. So we're gonna thrust our hips forward, really feel that through our hip flexors, and then take it back again. So hips hinge back, and then up. So if you want to, you can reach your arms forward and up, just like this. And if this is uncomfortable on your body, maybe you wanna do it with both knees, okay, underneath you, just like this, and that will still get that hinging motion. Let's go ahead and do a couple more. Hinge back and up, good, and 1 more time. Hinge and hold, good. From here, I'm just gonna turn sideways for you. We're gonna go into our final hold here and just come down to the elbows. And you can just move a little bit side to side if it feels good. The majority of the stretch here is happening in that extended leg in the inner thigh. And then go ahead and bring yourself right back up to a kneeling position. And we'll start that sequence over again. So opposite leg, out to the side. You can see that my arch of my foot is kind of pointed down to the floor, so my inner thigh is also pointed down to the floor. Open your arms wide, draw your tummy in tight, and again, we're gonna take a little lean to the right, and then bring yourself down and stretch. Good job. Press yourself off the ground, and you might find one side has better balance than the other. That has a lot to do with hip stability. So pay attention to that. Know that maybe that's something to work on later on. And bring it up. Good work. Keep going. Reach and over. All right, we are going to add on. So now you've got those 2 arm circles as you are in the hinge position. So hold here, reach, 2 big arm circles. Good, stop with the arm at the top, hold, and press yourself up. And let's do it again. Reach and circle. Good, press up. We're gonna do that one last time. Feels so amazing. And reach. And arm to the top, hold, and then press yourself up and stay. All right, tuck your back set of toes, and we're gonna move into that hip hinge. So hips go back, look forward, try not to look down, and then squeeze. Remember, stretch at the top right here. So take it real slow, your pace. Add the arms whenever you're ready. If it feels good, it's a little bit more extension for the spine. And we'll take 3 more. And you've got 1 more time right here. And we are going to stay. So once again, from that side view, okay, elbows to the ground, leg out to the side, and maybe it's just a rock side to side, just like this. Just shifting the weight. All right, let's release that stretch, and we're gonna come to our back sides. So go ahead and take your legs out into a nice straddle position. Now, your straddle may be right here, it may be really wide, it may have to be bent knees, and that's okay. But the most important thing is that you're sitting on top of your sitting bones and not rocking back into a position like this. Okay, so if this flexibility isn't quite there, it's okay to be in a little bit more so that you can be right on top of your sitting bones, your tailbone is not compressed or tucked into the ground. So first, stay right here, sit up tall, and we're just gonna take our arms out to the side, and we'll go palms up and palms up, okay? So just a rotation in the shoulder while our hips and inner thighs are gaining some flexibility here. And stretch. Now, very good. See if we can do it in the opposite, right? So we'll start palm up, and then just rotate. Good. It's kind of more of a brain teaser than anything. But you also are feeling this wonderful stretch going on in the back as you're keeping yourself in good posture by putting your sitting bones to the ground, and shoulders are hopefully staying out of the ears. Sometimes we do this, but try as best as you can. One more on each side, and done. All right, taking our hands to our legs. Okay, we're gonna take our right shoulder. So right shoulder is just going to press forward. So it's a great pectoral stretch, great stretch in the shoulder. Also feeling this down the lats a little bit as well. So look to your opposite hand. So if my right shoulder is going down, look to your left hand. Also getting that stretch in the neck. And then come back up, and we'll just alternate sides. And if you have flexibility and you want to go a little bit deeper, you are welcome to have your hands on the ground and go a little bit deeper in the stretch. Come up. I find it helps to even push against my legs just a touch here to add some extra resistance, or press against the top of the legs. Good, one more on each side. Enjoying that release in the upper back as well. All right, last one. And go ahead and sit nice and tall. You can bring your legs in and maybe just give them a little shake. Sometimes our hips get really cramped up in that position, so popcorn the legs for a moment. And now we are gonna give our hips a great internal, external rotation stretch. So if you lay on your back here, start with your feet a little bit wider than your hips, okay? And just rest your head on the ground, okay? The next thing you're gonna do is take your right leg and just drop it in towards your midline. So your other leg can just kind of hang wherever it needs to go, okay? You might feel some popping and adjusting going on in your sacrum. Feels good, bring that leg up, and then over to the other side. Now we don't necessarily want this leg to just fall completely open, because that puts a lot of stress on our low back, but just keep it planted, and then just transition between those two positions. So internal rotation going on in the hip, feeling a wonderful stretch right through here, even into your obliques. Good. All right, so you can stay with that option right there if you like, or, okay, we're gonna take our knees over to one side. So both knees point in the same direction. Okay, you have one leg that's externally rotated, one that's internally rotated. Arms are by your sides. And then you're just going to flip your knees over to the other side. Again, stay with the first option if you want to, but I love the way this feels on my hips. Perfect. And we've got one more layer to this move. For anybody who would like it, we'll come into a seated position next, and it becomes a little bit more difficult. So bring both knees back to center, press yourself up off of the ground, and now we've got a knee bend in the front, we've got a knee bend in the back, okay? And we're just gonna place our hands behind us here, make sure we have enough room, and we're just gonna flip our knees over, just like this. Okay, so flip the knees over. And just pause for a moment. Allow your hips to release. All right, one last piece. Part of this move as well, we're gonna sit up a little bit more. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit more tight through the hips, but since we've already done quite a bit of this, we're gonna try to do it without holding on. So hands out in front, okay? And just rotate up and around. And you're gonna feel your torso kind of turn and twist as you do that. Just let that natural movement happen with your arms and your rib cage. Okay, make the rotation a little bit bigger as you go to each side. And one more to each direction here. Good job. And that is all for those hip rotations. So bringing your body back down to the ground, okay, face down this time. We are going to have our nose toward the mat and our palms are going to start up. So just a baby back extension here. We want to squeeze our glutes, bring our legs close to one another, and we're going to lift our upper body up off of the mat, press our hands up, feeling a stretch on the front of the shoulders here, and then flip your hands and press them up again. So just a little flip of the hands, again, shoulder rotation happening here. Good. And let's do one more in each direction. And release. Take your hands, place them under your forehead for just a moment. And then we're gonna move into a bow. So hands will reach back behind your low back. So nose is toward the ground. So this might be your starting option and you might not go any further than this. The next option is to lift just a touch off of the floor. Elbows are still bent. And the final option, straighten out the arms and lift your legs, squeezing your backside. And we're gonna do this in kind of a dynamic sequence. So arms come back down, right underneath the forehead. Take a big inhale. And on your exhale, hands come behind. And we lift or choose one of those options prior to this. And bring it back down. Good, you've got two more. Exhale, lift. And inhale back down. And one more time, big squeeze. And extend, hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. And release, good. Let your head rest on your hands for a moment. And then place your hands right underneath your shoulders or slightly in front of. And we're gonna push back into a child's pose. So knees are about hip distance and we'll rest here in our child's pose. And we are gonna rest between an elongated child's pose and then kind of an elbow child's pose. So enjoy the stretch. And then bring your body weight forward and lift your chin, arching your back. Stay right here. And then take it right back out. Stretch the arms a little bit further. And bend at the elbows. Rock the body weight forward. And reach back. Good, this is your last one. And body weight comes forward. Great job. Tuck your toes, please, and press into a downward facing dog. And from here, we're just going to bend our knees and straighten our legs and finish off our calf stretch here. Good, you've got two more. And then walk your hands and feet close to one another. And slowly roll yourself up to a standing position. And we'll get that head and neck to relax here in a moment. So ear to the shoulder, knees are soft, just side to side, at your own pace. Hopefully you're feeling wonderful and your body is mobilized. And now turn your head side to side, shoulder to shoulder. And finally, we'll roll it down to one side. So just keep it down for a moment. We'll go ahead and do that full circle here in just a moment. And then all the way up. So look all the way up to the ceiling and down, switch directions. And one more in each direction. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 30-minute dynamic flexibility class. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again soon.